sick is already hard enough, right? Well, when you're hard of hearing and sick, you are faced with a whole other set of challenges that, in my opinion, hearing people don't really have to deal with or understand. Welcome to Definite Hearing. My name is Emily. I created Definite Hearing as a way to increase awareness for the deaf and hard of hearing. I'm hard of hearing myself, and I was super sick last week. By super sick, I mean throwing up every 15 to 30 minutes for 24 hours straight. It was absolutely miserable, and I realized that my sick experience compared to my hearing family members is just a little different. So I'm going to talk about that in today's video. I hope you stick around to the end of this video because if you do, I'm going to share some tips to help you navigate being sick as a hard of hearing person. If you haven't already, please like this video because I bet you're excited to learn. Please subscribe to my channel and hit that notification button. Thanks so much for your support. So when you're sick, your immune system is working overtime and your body as a whole feels tired and slow. So this means when you're hard of hearing that your ability to process what you're hearing or understand what you're hearing is impacted by that exhaustion. Therefore, understanding speech becomes that much more difficult and you feel like you're in this echoey movie and you just feel a little detached from reality. Imagine someone asks me, "Can you please pass the green blanket?" When I am sick and tired, when they start talking, I'm registering that they're talking. When they're halfway through their sentence, I've already understood the first 3 words. And when they're done, I don't hear anything else. So essentially I hear, "Can you please?" Blank spot. And that's it. My brain's not keeping up. And so then I have to ask them to repeat themselves. And unfortunately, this brings us to item number 2. Because I'm feeling more exhausted and I can't understand what I'm hearing, I'm also more exhausted in crafting a response. So when I'm sick, my brain already feels like it's stuck in molasses, let alone when I'm sick, I didn't hear what you said and I can't even craft a response. So I have to ask you to repeat yourself when I really don't want to exert more energy than I have to. It's just exhausting. It just feels like running an endless marathon. Sometimes like torture. Point number 3 in how being sick as a hard of hearing person can just be a little bit more difficult is that what you hear is more muddled. The reason for this is because just physiologically, your body is dealing with congestion, headaches, blockage. You truly are more plugged up or swollen than usual. So sound is not passing through your ears if you have hearing aids, through your brain, through your nose. Like your airways and your hearing waves just are not operating as they normally do. And the fatigue just makes it harder to put all those puzzle pieces together. So your communication comes and goes like choppy Wi-Fi. It's just not reliable and it's super frustrating. So that can cause you to hear things differently than you normally hear them. For example, if Joel told me the soup is in the fridge, but what I heard was the boop is on the bridge, then you're like, you're not helping me. What do you mean the boop is in the bridge? I don't know what that means. And it's just because the words that he's saying don't sound normal because of the congestion and the headaches I'm dealing with. And so I don't receive the message he sent. And therefore, he sent me a kind message and I send back an annoyed message. And it just creates this communication breakdown. This leads to point number 4. Your patience is thinner. Again, you just don't have the energy to hear, to process what you're hearing, to craft a nice, kind response. And therefore, it can be easier to be more frustrated, more tired, more exhausted, and to just not even want to take the energy to function. It's just hard when you're trying to understand and be understood. And when you're not, and you don't have the patience because your body is super sick, it's just another layer of icing on the cake. This can make you really grumpy, and unfortunately, that grumpiness can rub off onto those around you. For example, if my son Cole were to ask for a snack, like if he says, "Mom, can I have a snack?" And I already gave him a snack. I'm like, "No, not right now." And he gets sad and starts crying. And then I realized he was asking for a nap. Oh yeah, that would do us all a favor. Let's go take a nap. Next, point number 5 is all of these things can add or equate to you feeling out of control. I think it's natural for us humans to feel like we have some sense of control in our environment, I admit that's one reason I like my hearing aids, because they give me independence and a sense of control in my life, that I can hear more than I could without them. I can understand more than I could without them. But when you have great devices like hearing aids, but you're sick, all of a sudden you lose that control that you're used to, and that is hard. So when you're sick, you feel physically out of control, and you also feel a little mentally out of control because you cannot communicate effectively. You start to spiral a little bit because your independence becomes dependence, and not even that, just a massive mess of things. Because the reality is, simple tasks like knowing where the soup is in the fridge or being able to decipher what my son is saying have now become Herculean tasks, like a lot harder than I was used to having them when I'm not sick. And this brings me to point number 6 as a hard of hearing person. One thing that I think is a little worse is when you're sick, you just don't eat as well and you just don't sleep as well. That further compounds your ability to concentrate on what you're hearing. That impacts your ability to understand and to communicate effectively. And so that just further exacerbates the sickness as a whole and trying to function as a human being. You don't feel normal, you don't communicate normally, it rubs off on the people around you, it's just a mess. I have found that as a hard of hearing person, my ability to hear and understand really thrives when I sleep well and when I eat well. And so when I'm sick, and it makes it harder to do those things, I'm out of gas. I'm a car that's out of gas. You can't drive a car that's out of gas. So it's just extremely difficult. Okay, so I think we get the point. I think that I have communicated why being sick as a hard of hearing person, at least for myself, is a little bit more difficult, and the struggle is real. If you're hard of hearing, have you noticed that sickness seems to impact you more than maybe your hearing loved ones or friends? If so, I would love to hear in the comments below. I want to hear what you've experienced and the impact. I also want to hear what's worked for you. Thanks so much for sticking around to the end of this video. I'm going to share a few things that have helped me navigate sickness as a hard of hearing person to really reduce these issues. The ideal scenario as a hard of hearing person is, if you're feeling sick, you can just sit in a dark room with your hearing devices out by yourself and heal and get up when you're ready. That's ideal. If you can do that, do that. Enjoy it. If you have the ability to do that, love it and enjoy it for the rest of us, because I could do that for an hour or so at a time. I'm super lucky to have a really supportive husband that will take the kids out on a play date or something like that, and I can just hide in my burrow. I love it. It's the best. But when we have to get up and start functioning and realize how dysfunctional we are, here are a few more things that can help. Number 1 is resting as much as possible. Get as much rest as you can. That rest will help recharge your battery, just physically, socially, hearing-wise, in every way possible. Don't be afraid to cancel events. In fact, if you're sick, you should. Just stay home. It's a great excuse to stay home. The next tip is be very vocal or verbal about how the sickness will impact you. For example, I'm feeling sick. It's going to be hard for me to understand what you're saying. I'm probably going to have to ask you to repeat yourself. Let's just all try to be patient with each other. Realize that you need more patience for yourself, you need more patience for others, and they will need more patience for you. So whatever you have to do to communicate that clearly will hopefully set clear expectations so that you can all be more patient with each other and avoid circumstances or scenarios that result, because communication is more difficult when you're sick as a hard of hearing person. That brings me to the next point. Don't be afraid to ask people to repeat themselves. When you're sick, you should be living life in the slow lane, so just take it slow. Have them get your attention before they talk to you. If you don't hear it, be ready to ask them to repeat themselves. Hopefully you set clear expectations that they know they're going to have to repeat themselves more while you're sick. And hopefully that will just help the communication go a little bit smoother and reduce periods of contention. And if worst comes to worst, you can just resort to written communication. We have phones and texting nowadays. I think people make fun of people that text in the same room. Honestly, if you're sick and you have a sore throat, just have your family members text you. Like, just cut the verbal communication altogether. If written communication works for you, great, but you got to pass that paper back and forth. Like, texting takes like this much effort. I recommend it if you think it'll help. So there you have it. Being sick as a hard of hearing person is no walk in the park. It's not a walk in the park for anyone. Being sick sucks. But understanding the challenges and how to navigate those challenges can help a ton. So I really hope that this video helps you. And I hope that you can implement some of the helpful tactics the next time you're sick. I'm sure you got something out of this video. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I look forward to making more great hearing loss related content for you. Whether you're hard of hearing or not, thanks so much for watching. Stay strong, stay amazing, and have a great day.